on the dance floor grinding, popping in and winding. Her body got a mind of its own. She been getting over like a shotgun, bullet in the chamber. Baby girl is out of control. She going in like a scuba diver, hot like a forest fire, sexy like you wouldn't believe. She says she want me bad. I'm glad, I'm glad, I'm glad. It'll be my pleasure, girl, to sweat out your weave. La 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 la. Okay, this is what it feels like in the spotlight. La la, baby, bumping bodies all night in the spot. She's like a spaceship walking, fellas stop talking when my baby enters the room. It's like somebody set a bomb off. Everybody's pointing, the lighting ain't got nothing on you. She move her body like a stripper, make me wanna tip her. Shorty goes so damn hard. She feeling a little tipsy. One more shot of
Am I dreaming? Man, this looks like how my dreams always start. Water movement, lights, corals. Because I know JB only puts out a video like once every year. It doesn't come out every day. But it's a special occasion, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of JB's Saltwater Fish Tank and Friends. We are at one of the best tanks. Actually, best tanks I know, that is SPS. Would like to introduce you to Tommy's 37-gallon semi-cube tank. Take a moment, get the oohs and ahs in, be amazed at this ridiculous aquascaping technique. Tommy, could you tell us a little bit about the tank?
Well, just it's a real simple setup. It's actually just set up as a grow out tank until I set up the big 200 gallon. But I figure if it's going to be set up, might as well set it up nice. And I tried something a little different this time. I went with more of a bonsai look, which is a little bit new for me. So I just wanted to try it out and wanted to see if I can incorporate it into the new tank too. So you just got a mix of mainly SPS corals, some LPS, but it's mainly a grow out tank for SPS.
How long has this tank been set up?
Maybe about 2.5 months.
And are these all new pieces, or are these items you've been acquiring over the years?
Well, on my old 40 breeder, I lost about 85% of my corals, and whatever I can save, I saved and I added to this tank. But for the most part, I'd say about 15% of the corals in here are grandfathered in, and then the rest is all brand new.
And the clam?
The clam was grandfathered into. That one made it. I don't know how, but it made it.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. And I know all these people are asking, how in the heck did you fit all the SPS pieces on the top of this little mountain?
Well, the good thing is that they're small frags. Most of them are just one stem, two stem frags, and just super glued them all together. Just found the space for them. Have good flow, which keeps them from touching each other, and it also allows for them to grow nicely. And once they do grow out nicely, then I'll start to move them around.
Now, how did you hook up this system? Because I know it's ghetto rigged. We'll start from the top.
Absolutely ghetto rigged, and I was hoping you'd skip this part too, but this is a used Lumen Max Reflector Elite with 250 watt radiums, and then some Ecozotic stunner strips that I use on my old 40 breeder. I added them on here, which are probably going to be removed and supplemented with new 3 watt LEDs, blue LEDs with optics, 60-degree optics. If you notice, the overflow box is a specimen container, what you would normally see at a fish store when they catch a fishery, they'll put it in. Again, all this stuff was just done off of my old tank, whatever I had left over. I didn't want to spend any more money on purchasing or customizing any sort of sump or anything like that. So you can see the big fan, another small fan in the inside, the same Reef octopus that I use in the 40 breeder, and that's it. Very simple setup, no baffles. I don't have any air bubbles, thank God. And then just a small little area down there for live rock and buildup of beneficial bacteria.
So wait a minute, you're telling me that you just went to like Kmart, bought yourself a little tub, stuck some rock in it, and stuck a protein skimmer in it, a Reef octopus protein skimmer, right? Which you have what looks like a filter floss on the exterior, wrapped around with some what looks like rubber bands, and you're telling me you're using that as a sump for this tank.
Yeah, you're 99% correct, except I got the tub at Walmart. At Walmart.
I am so sorry. For all you guys who shop at Kmart, you need to stop doing it now. Walmart's the place to be. So, what are the fish you have in here?
Well, I have a yellowfin wrasse. I have a black blenny, purple firefish, geometric hawk, and then I just added the Tamini tang, which I think is a little bit too big. I didn't realize how big it was until I brought it home. If I would have thought about it again, I probably would change it. And then a little scarlet shrimp, and that's it. In the future, if a gumdrop goby comes around, I'll add that, but then that's probably it after this.
Now, this coral right here, the one I'm so impressed by, the one that the camera doesn't do the most excellent job of picking up the coloration, what is it?
This is Acropora solitariensis, which is a tabling form of acro. And you only see them in the trade every so often, and whenever I do see it, I always pick it up. But it's very unique. Again, it's not commonly seen in the trade. You see them sometimes as a mariculture, but they're not as nicely grown out as this. This is I believe it's a wild piece. And when I first got it in, it was pretty much browned out. And within a week or so, it started getting the blue tips and the blue rim around it. And some of the brown on top of it washed out.
I mean, that's an amazing piece. I mean, I think that's the most amazing piece that you have in this tank or whatever. But guys, what I wanted to let you know about this tank, what makes it so unique, is not the fact that he has two MP10s running side by side in the back facing the front and blowing the crap out of all these acroporas. It's the fact that most of these acros, he buys them in a crisis state already. I mean, they're already like close to either the color were washed out, or he saw that they're bleached just slightly, but the polyps are still extending, and he brings them home and takes care of them like a little nursery, and he colors them back up, and they come back to life, and that's what you're seeing. That's where the sea of rainbow coloration came from. I'd have to dare to say that Tommy is a master aquascaper. The reason I'm saying that is because the Spartan has been redone. It's revived. My feeling of it has come back. I am rejuvenated, like Juvenile from Hot Boys. Rejuvenated. Yeah, if I can use that word. I am very impressed by all of Tommy's aquascaping, and I hopefully welcome him to the DRW team, and I look forward to doing more work with him. Now, this right here, this semi-cube, you're saying is basically a grow-out tank, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that means that there has to be something even more ridiculous in store for the next coming round.
Yeah, definitely. The 200 gallon is a process. That's why I'm taking so long building it out, because I want it to be perfect. So this, as you can tell, it was just pieced together overnight. Basically, it was pieced together overnight with dry rock, which is the same that I'm going to be using in the 200 gallon, but at least I'm gathering all the right equipment for it. So extra large protein skimmer, calcium reactor, which my boy JB is going to help me out hooking it up. Dosing system, but it's also kept very simple too, and I need to do it right just in case I need to move, so that everything is easily detachable and I can easily set it up again.
Another question. I noticed you have a pH monitor, right? So what are your parameters like in this tank?
I always try to keep my parameters very constant and very, I guess it's very common in the trade with SPS keepers. Try to keep my pH at around 8.2, 8.3. Right now it's a little bit low. It's right about 8, which is fine too. My out is running at 8. My calcium is running at 420. Mag is at 1350, 1375, and that's it.
Now, would you say it's hard to keep a SPS tank in a small tank, like a 37 gallon, or would you say it's a lot of dedication and work? I mean, for a smaller tank, do you find yourself going through swings of anything, or?
Luckily with this tank, actually with all of my smaller tanks, I've been pretty lucky keeping my swings pretty low. The only thing that swings a lot here is the pH, which can go anywhere from 7.8 at night up to 8.1, 8.3 in the day, which is big. But I think a lot of the crows in here have been acclimated to that. But I do find that it is a little bit, it has its pros and its cons. The pros are definitely, it's easier to manage, but the cons are because the water volume is so little, everything is so major. So it just takes a lot of good husbandry, as with any tank that you keep, especially SPS.
Now, would you a person who has a LPS tank, right, and they wanted to convert to SPS, would how long do you think they should start out with the LPS first, or do you think they should just hop over straight into SPS if they just want an SPS tank?
You know, I kind of keep Reef Central as a guideline for people who want to get into corals. LPS are always a lot easier to handle because the requirements aren't as much, and the dedication can be a little bit laxed. Now, there's a part that says, there's a form that says for SPS lovers, which are people who are absolutely obsessed with SPS, and that's what you have to be if you want to get into SPS. You have to be obsessed with SPS because you want to raise it properly, basically. They're almost like your child. You want to raise it properly. So you need to make sure that you're going to keep on top of all of your water changes, your parameters. I constantly check my parameters at least once or twice a week. I look at the tank every single day to make sure that there's nothing odd going on. And the more you look at it, the more you can tell. And the more you know that if there is a problem, then you'll start noticing things closing up. Things won't be as plump or as healthy. Your polyps don't extend as much. And even some of your coloration drops too. And just being in the hobby long enough and dealing with with LPS first, you'll know that you'll know what is causing some of these things, whether it's a calcium drop, alkalinity drop, or a pH swing. So make sure once you get into LPS, you understand all those parameters first, and then you hop into SPS if you're really obsessed with it. But you have to be on top of it at all times.
So, would you consider JB an obsessed hobbyist?
Extremely, almost. I thought I was the most, but I think I've met my match. So, I think you're definitely ready for the jump.
So, why would you think SPS junkie or qualify for one if you yourself have 4 tanks in your house right now?
Because you would probably have just about the same if you had a bigger house. If not more. And I know you want to add more.
So you hear that, guys? 6 and counting. I'm back down to 2, and I might be upgrading to 3 because I just picked up a Half Moon 30-gallon all-in-one. So lay around for that. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna set it up for myself, or I'm actually do what I was supposed to do with it, which is give it to the person that wanted it. So lay around for that. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and then we'll check out the 200-gallon. We'll be right back.